Hi everybody. I'm gonna record a video really quick. I'm doing it in my car because I'm about to go pick up kids at the bus stop. But I said in a video a while back that I would like do a short clip on signs of child abuse because in my last video quite a few people asked what signs to look for. You know, a lot of people are like, well, I mean, I see kids with bruises all the time and I don't know if they're abused or should I turn them in, or kids get bruises and kids break bones and kids have injuries all the time. That's to be expected. So I kind of I made a list and I'm going to kind of read it off because of course I need a study guide because I hate doing recording stuff and I get sidetracked and I'll go off on a tangent about something. So here are some specific signs for child abuse. Number 1 is bruising, welts, or burns that cannot be sufficiently explained, particularly bruises on the face, lips, and mouth of infants or on several surface planes at the same time. That means on several surface planes at the same time, that means if they have, you know, a big crazy bruise on this arm and a big crazy bruise on this arm and maybe in other parts of their body, you know, one big crazy bruise somewhere, I mean, the accidents happen, you know, then that can be explained. Obviously, if it's something that can't be explained, then that's, you know, something that is an issue. But if they have, you know, on multiple spots on their body, that's, you know, cause to be concerned. Unusual bruising patterns that reflect the shape of the instrument used to cause the injury. So if you've got, you know, a kid that comes in, or you're, you know, babysitting, or your kid's friend or something, and they've got bruises all up and down their arm that look like, you know, the shape of a hairbrush or a hanger or something, that's, you know, you should be concerned. Clusters of bruises, welts, or burns indicating repeated contact with a hand or an instrument. You know, so again, if there's multiple bruises, you know, in an area where it looks like they were just repeatedly, you know, beaten, that's, you know, you should be concerned. Injuries on the body where children usually don't get hurt. On the neck. You know, how often does a child fall and hurt their neck, especially like the back of their neck? Or, you know, in the torso area, what else did I put on here? Thighs, bottom, back. I can count, you know, a couple times that I've had, you know, I've gotten a bruise in a weird spot, but bruises in those areas are not very common. And that's, you know, in bigger kids. Bruises on babies, you know, that's, you know, not common at all. If you've got a toddler that's just walking, you know, that can explain more. But, okay, the next one is burns that are insufficiently explained. Anything that looks like a cigarette burn, anything that looks like immersion burns, marks indicating dunking in hot, you know, if it looks like their, you know, hand or their foot or some part of their body has been, you know, if it's burned in an area where it looks like it was dunked, you know, in hot liquid, call the cops. Let's see, rope or restraint burns on the arms, hands, neck, or legs. Call the cops. Lacerations or abrasions to the lip, eye, or any part of a child's face. all of my children have fallen and had a crazy, wicked, whether it was a bruise, Trip busted his mouth, Lincoln busted right below his eye. Tristan was girly, she got her hairline once, but, if there's multiple spots, that's, you should be concerned. Tears in the tissue of the gums could possibly be a result from force feeding. So that's something to look for. How often are you looking at your friends' kids' gums? Probably not very often. But if they have a gummy smile and you notice that they've got, some issues going on, that could possibly be a reason. Any laceration or abrasion to genitalia, anything in their private areas, anything, that's, you should be concerned, report that. Absence of hair or hemorrhaging beneath the scalp due to vigorous hair pulling. If you're getting your hair yanked on all the time, there's normally signs. Behavior-wise, if they're withdrawn, fearful, or have extreme behavior, sometimes kids are brats, and sometimes that's just the way they are, and sometimes it is because there's something else going on. If you suspect that, if you're at Chick-fil-A and a child is, throws a toy at your child, like, they're not, don't immediately like, oh my gosh, man, they've got like really extreme behavior that was crazy. Maybe they're abused. Don't go report those people. If you're at Chick-fil-A and you see a child that is sitting, off at the end of the booth, not really eating, not engaged, not playing, not, has bruises all over him, you should probably call. If it's a child that maybe on soccer team or, gymnastics or something, if they are absent from regular activity, if it's a child in your classroom or after school program, daycare, whatever, if they are, absent for a week or 2 weeks without a valid excuse, if a child's absent for quite a while, sometimes they can be holding them back at home so injuries can heal a little bit before they're thrown back out into public. Obviously, if a child looks like they are, emaciated or malnourished, without like known health concerns or known health issues, that's a red flag, So these are like all pretty extreme, these are all, if you see this, call the police. You want to call DHS too, but calling the police and saying, hey, I'm right here right now and there's this going on. There's a child that has, looks like cigarette burns all over her arm or whatever the case may be, get a cop there. They're trained, to distinguish what is and what might not be an accident, and let them take, and then, also call DHS, but get the police involved. It is, like I said in my last video, it is up to us as a society, as a community, to protect our kids. We can't put it all on DHS's plate because those people are overworked and underpaid, and how can you expect, they're not seeing these kids on a daily basis. They aren't involved with them like we are. And so, I had someone that reached out to me after my last video and said, I think it's a little ridiculous that, how are we supposed to report everybody, every time we see a bruise on some kid? And that's not what I was saying. That's not what I've ever said. maybe I didn't realize that some people don't know how to distinguish what is child abuse and what isn't. So I'm hoping that this video will help. And I know I went over a lot of things in my last one, and so I'm trying to kind of break down in little, break down little sections and do like 10-minute long videos on each topic. So that is your signs of, child abuse video.